She kissed my forehead, told me she'd wait, and then flew across the world before I woke up. That's what the nurse said anyway. I was in a coma for 71 days. 71 days hooked up to machines, with a broken back, fractured ribs, and dreams I don't even remember anymore. Anna had vanished before I ever opened my eyes. The last thing I remembered was hearing her voice yelling "cut" on set before the lights exploded around me. She was my fiancée, my muse, my lead actress in the film I was directing. Now, she was a ghost with perfect makeup, plastered across tabloid covers with headlines like, "Ana Delgado bags European lead role, director fiancé, supports fully." No one asked if I'd actually supported anything. Melissa did. She came to the hospital every week, even when I didn't know. She left me updates, who visited, who didn't. When I could finally speak again, the first name I asked about was Anna's. "She left," Melissa said softly. "Her agent called. They said she couldn't miss the opportunity." "Opportunity?" I croaked. "She left the night after your accident, Robert. She boarded a plane to France before the surgery even started." My throat was too sore to curse. The worst part? I wasn't surprised. By the time I left rehab, Anna's movie was in post-production. Hers was filmed on the cliffs of Provence. Mine, the one we were making together, was abandoned. The investors pulled, the crew disbanded, and I was left alone, half-healed and fully replaced. But I didn't quit. I rewrote the script. With Daniel, my longtime production manager, I pieced it back together. We restructured the studio's finances and quietly opened casting again for Our Lie in summer. Anna had once called it the role of a lifetime. I crossed her name off the lead sheet. "What about Lilith Reyes?" Daniel suggested. "Anna hates her." I looked at her audition tape. She wasn't Anna's clone, sis. He was sharper, more honest, more real. "Call her," I said. Melissa watched from across the room. "You sure you're ready to go back in like this?" "I'm not going back in," I said. "I'm starting over." Anna called when the first teaser dropped. Lilith's voice filled the screen. My name rolled across the credits. Director, Robert Langford. "You gave her my part?" Anna snapped through the phone. "You gave it away the moment you chose yourself over me," I replied. Her breath caught. I was scared. "No," I said. "You were hungry, and you thought I'd always be there to come back to." She didn't hang up. She didn't cry. She just said, "You'll regret this." I didn't answer, because I wouldn't. Lilith's performance was magnetic. Reviewers called it haunting. She wasn't Anna. She didn't need to be. Opening night was a triumph. Melissa stood beside me in the crowd, quiet as ever. "You did it," she whispered. "No," I said. "We did." She smiled. "She's going to show up, you know." She already did. Anna had sent roses to the press event, 12 black ones with a note that read, "To Robert, remember who made you." I didn't reply, but I had Daniel auction the bouquet for charity. Weeks later, Anna walked onto my set uninvited. She wore the same dress she'd worn at Cannes, lipstick red. Her heels clicked louder than the crew's silence. "You cast her just to spite me," she said. "No," I said. "I cast her because she didn't leave." Anna looked smaller than I remembered. "I thought you'd understand. This industry, it doesn't wait for anyone." "I was dying, Anna." "But you lived," she said. "Isn't that something?" I laughed. Bitter, sharp. "Yeah, it is, and now I get to decide who stands beside me in the credits." She stepped closer. "Give me one more chance." I already did. It put me in a coma. After she left again, Melissa approached quietly. "You okay?" I looked at her. "Why'd you stay, Melissa?" She shrugged. "Because somebody had to." "No, you didn't, but you still did." She smiled gently, tucking her hair behind one ear. "Not everyone leaves when the spotlight moves." I reached for her hand without thinking. She didn't pull away. By the end of the year, Our Lie in Summer received 6 festival nominations. Lilith became a rising star. I started writing again. For the first time in months, words came easy. Daniel printed the first draft of my new script and tossed it on my desk. "What's the title?" he asked. I looked at the cover. She left me in a coma for her dream role, so I cast her rival as the lead. Daniel laughed. "Subtle." Melissa passed by and read it too. She gave me a look. "What?" I asked. She said, "Good. But maybe next time, write one where someone stays." I nodded. Maybe I already had. If anyone had told me 5 years ago that Ana Delgado would leave me half dead in a hospital bed to chase a dream roll across the Atlantic, I might have laughed. Not because I didn't believe she'd do it, but because back then, I thought I mattered more than ambition. My name's Robert Langford. I write films for a living, direct them, cut them, breathe life into scripts that would otherwise sit buried in Dropbox folders. Ana used to be one of those stories. Beautiful, intense, unpredictable. The kind of woman who lights a fuse in every room just by walking into it. She made scenes feel real. She made the silence loud. That was what drew me to her first, not the looks, not the charm, but the chaos that always seemed 5 seconds away from detonation. We met during casting for my second indie film. She auditioned for a side role. She read 2 lines and was halfway to the door before I stopped her. "Come back tomorrow. You're not a supporting role," I'd said. She returned the next day. I rewrote the script that night. We worked together, then we started dating. A year later, we were engaged. It wasn't a proposal with champagne or music, it was an aftershoot moment where I handed her a small velvet box and said, "You know I'm not good at this stuff, so just stay." She took the ring without a word. That silence meant yes, but Anna's eyes were never permanent. In the beginning, our relationship was kinetic. We created well together, we fought loud, loved harder, every disagreement turned into dialogue. Every apology turned into a scene idea. Anna didn't live life, she performed it, sometimes for the camera, sometimes for me. She'd whisper things like, "We're the lead characters, Rob. This is our movie." She believed that. Maybe I did too, but our timelines shifted. While I focused on building a production house from scratch, Anna shifted her sights abroad. Europe had been calling for years. French cinema, Italian thrillers, art house directors who smoked on screen and didn't believe in happy endings. Anna craved that spotlight. I supported her, booked flights, called agents, edited her demo reels myself between meetings. We made a pact, no matter how far her dreams took her, we'd never forget who started it together. That pact ended on the day I fell from the lighting rig. We were filming a high-stakes scene. She was in the frame, I was up above with the crew, double-checking safety. One snapped cable, one miscalculated harness, my body hit concrete from 15 feet up. Fractured ribs, dislocated shoulder, internal bleeding. The impact cracked my skull just enough to knock me into a medically induced coma. The doctors told me later I was lucky, a few inches to the left, and I would have never opened my eyes again. Anna was there when the ambulance came. She was crying, I'm told, but by the time I woke up 71 days later, she was gone. Melissa told me the rest. Melissa Grant was our second assistant director, steady, quiet, sharper than she let on. If Anna was a monologue, Melissa was stage direction, silent, precise, essential. She handled logistics, pickups, casting reschedules, food poisoning emergencies. Once, when Anna had a meltdown over the wrong brand of tea on set, Melissa drove 30 minutes just to find the exact one. But she never asked for credit. While I was unconscious, Melissa stayed. She updated the hospital chart with production notes in the margins, joked with nurses to keep the room light, and argued with Anna's manager when they started circulating press statements saying Anna was deeply concerned and by her fiancé's side. Melissa saw the truth. Anna left 3 hours after your second surgery, she told me. Her agent said there was a meeting in Prague. Some European directors wanted her for the lead. She didn't wait, I asked. She didn't look back. Anna's dreams were finally knocking, and she ran through the door without hesitation, slamming it behind her. Daniel was next to visit. My longtime friend, business partner, and part-time conscience when I needed one. He was the one who held the company together while I was out. He also told me the hard truth. She told them you were being replaced, he said, that the accident wouldn't affect production, that the film could be salvaged without you. Was it? I asked. He shook his head. No one wanted to finish a movie built on betrayal. That betrayal wasn't just personal, it was professional. Our careers were fused, my reputation had built hers, my scripts were written with her rhythms in mind. She had, in essence, walked off with the last 5 years of my creative life in her suitcase. Still, I didn't cry, I didn't rage, I just asked for my laptop. Within a week of getting home, I began rewriting the film. Melissa was the first person I hired back. Not because she stayed, though she had, but because she never asked me how I was. She just handed me a schedule, a list of available stage slots, and asked, "Are you up for this?" I nodded. more than ever. We renamed the movie Our Lie in Summer. Anna's character became less romantic, more haunting, less about longing, more about manipulation. Her absence became the script's new heartbeat. Melissa noticed the change. "You're writing from somewhere else now," she said. "I'm writing from the truth," I replied. Then came the casting. Anna's name was still on the old sheets. Melissa looked at it, paused, and slid the paper across the desk. I scratched through it without blinking. "Who do you want for lead now?" she asked. "Someone who didn't abandon the ship," I said. She made a few calls. Daniel brought me audition tapes. That's when I saw Lilith Reyes. Lilith was unpolished but brilliant. She had that rare quality Anna used to have, presence. She read the lines with none of Anna's flair, but twice the weight. Her pauses weren't empty, they were dangerous. "I like her," I said. "You sure?" Daniel asked. "Anna always hated her." "Perfect." Melissa didn't say much, but I caught the slight curl in her smile. Over the next month, we rebuilt the film from the ground up. Melissa stepped into a larger role, creative consultant. Daniel handled investor reassurance. Lilith proved herself, scene by scene. I stayed behind the camera, mostly silent, but inside, I was boiling, burning through old memories, scripting new closure. One night after a long rehearsal, I caught Melissa staring at the shot list. "Everything okay?" I asked. She looked up slowly. "You're not doing this just to get back at her, are you?" I shook my head. "No, I'm doing it so I don't disappear behind her." Melissa nodded. "Good. Because you never needed her, Robert. She needed you." That stuck with me. For a long time, Anna was my co-star in both life and work, but it turns out she was playing a different script, one where I was expendable. Melissa, on the other hand, never auditioned for the spotlight. She just kept showing up when the cameras were off. By the time we wrapped filming, Melissa was the only one still standing beside me, and Anna, she was a headline from last month. It was the night of the press conference when everything began to unravel again. The film was done. Our Lie in Summer had wrapped 3 weeks early, under budget, and the final edit had just gone out to festival selectors. I should have been relieved, I should have been celebrating. Instead, I found myself standing under studio lights, flanked by Lilith on one side and Melissa on the other, waiting for a question that wasn't about the movie. "Robert," a reporter said, her mic hovering just below her lips. "Ana Delgado's team released a statement this morning saying your film was originally built around her. How would you respond to claims that Lilith Reyes was cast as retaliation after Ana left?" I saw Melissa shift slightly beside me. Daniel, sitting behind the press wall, leaned forward with a warning glance. I smiled coolly. Actors leave projects, directors recast. That's the nature of filmmaking. Retaliation implies emotion. I don't make casting decisions based on personal history, I make them based on performance. The room stirred, someone muttered, another flash went off, but I kept my tone flat, professional, unshakable. That night, I found a manila envelope waiting on my desk, no return address, no label. I opened it and immediately recognized Anna's handwriting. The contents were photos, black and white stills from the early days of Our Lie in Summer when she was the lead. Her standing under the cherry blossoms, her in costume, her laughing between takes with me behind the camera. She'd scribbled something across the bottom of one image. "We were building something, you burned it." I didn't respond, but I didn't sleep either. Melissa noticed the shift before I did. 2 days later, she walked into my office mid-edit with a single sentence. "She's coming back." I looked up. "Who?" "Anna." I raised an eyebrow. "She burned that bridge herself." "She's booked a ticket," Melissa continued. "Daniel saw her name on the registry at the Film Guild. He's coming back for the industry gala next week." I leaned back in my chair. "Let her come." Melissa hesitated. "What if she tries to reclaim something?" "She can try," I said. "But I don't belong to her, and neither does the film." Still, I felt it in the pit of my stomach, that old twist of anticipation. Not longing, just unfinished business. The gala was glittering. Industry veterans, rising stars, silver-haired producers with fat wallets and thin morals. I walked in wearing a tailored black suit and a calm expression. Melissa walked beside me, elegant in an emerald gown. Her hair was pinned simply, her movements quiet but confident. She'd been the only constant in a year of chaos. I was proud to have her at my side. Then Anna appeared. Red, always red. She wore a blood-red dress that shimmered in the light and eyes that dared anyone to look away. She saw me. She walked toward me, and for a moment the entire room seemed dull. "Robert," she said. No fury, no warmth, just history in a single syllable. "Anna," I replied. Her gaze moved to Melissa. "I see you've replaced more than just the lead." Melissa didn't flinch. "I wasn't replacing anyone, I was working while others were running." Anna turned back to me. "You really cast Lilith, of all people?" "She earned it. You rewrote the entire script. And you rewrote your own narrative the second you boarded that plane." She laughed under her breath. "So this is revenge?" "No," I said. "This is realignment." The next day, Anna showed up at the studio without warning. Melissa tried to block her, but Anna was persistent. She walked straight into my office with an envelope. "I want to audition," she said. I stared at her. "You want to audition for the role you abandoned?" "I want to prove I never needed favors to get cast." I looked at the envelope. Her face was calm, but her hands trembled slightly. I didn't pick it up. "I'm not looking for another lead," I said. "You're looking for a second film, aren't you?" she pressed. "You're writing again, I heard." Melissa stood at the door, watching quietly. I met Anna's gaze and answered plainly. "Yes, but not for you." Anna flinched. "I waited for you." "No, you left me. I had to choose myself." "So did I." She stepped closer. "Robert, I made a mistake. I thought I'd have time to explain, but everything happened so fast, and then I saw the headlines, the recasts, the premiere. I realized how replaceable I really was." "You weren't replaceable, Anna," I said. "You were just inconsistent." She didn't say anything. I continued. "Do you want the truth?" She nodded slowly. "You were my greatest muse and my worst mistake. I wrote for you, built scenes around you, but when it mattered, when the lights cut out and the cameras stopped, you vanished. I almost died, and you went to Paris." Anna's lips parted, but no words came out. I waited. She didn't speak. Melissa walked forward and held the door open. Anna understood. She left without saying goodbye. Later that evening, Daniel came into my office holding his phone. "You'll want to see this," he said. Anna had gone live on social media, crying, confessional, unfiltered. "I know I made choices that hurt people," she said to her viewers. "I chose my dream, I chose a role over a relationship, and now I'm watching someone else play the character that was written for me." Melissa turned off the video halfway through. "I don't want to watch her beg for empathy," she said. "She's not begging," I replied. "She's trying to rewrite the ending." Melissa turned toward me. "So write a better one." The next week, we were invited to a panel discussion on narrative redemption. Lilith couldn't make it, Daniel was out of town, so it was just me and Melissa. As we sat backstage, I asked, "Do you ever wonder what would have happened if Anna stayed?" Melissa took a moment. "You would have finished the movie, it probably would have been good." But you wouldn't have changed," she said. "You wouldn't have learned the difference between being needed and being chosen." I looked at her. "And what am I now?" She smiled. "Someone who's finally writing for himself." Anna hasn't shown up again since. The industry moved on. Her film was quietly pulled from distribution after the studio folded. Mine was submitted to 5 major festivals. Melissa and I started outlining the next script. She now has a producer credit. Daniel still cracks jokes about red dresses and revenge casting, but I've stopped needing the punchline. I stopped writing for Anna the day I realized the betrayal wasn't the coma, it wasn't abandonment, it wasn't even the silence. It was the moment she believed her success meant I'd disappear. She was wrong. I didn't disappear. I directed the damn story. There's a strange emptiness that follows survival. It doesn't hit right away. When I first woke up from the coma, the only things I felt were clinical, numbness in my hands, tightness in my ribs, and a hollow ache behind my eyes. The nurses said it was normal, muscle atrophy, medication side effects, but no one warned me about the emotional phantom pain. I kept thinking she'd be there. Even after Melissa said it outright, she left the night after surgery. Some stubborn part of me waited for Anna to walk through the door with a half-hearted apology and a perfectly rehearsed excuse. I kept imagining her standing at the foot of the hospital bed, saying something like, "I wanted to come earlier but," followed by whatever she thought I'd want to hear. She never showed. The silence around her absence grew louder every day. My recovery was filled with visits from people who meant well but couldn't meet my eyes. Daniel brought studio updates, Melissa brought coffee and calm, but no one ever brought Anna's name unless I asked, and when I did, it was always the same script. She left, she didn't respond, she's overseas, she's busy. Busy, as if I'd only caught a cold, and she had deadlines. The nights were the worst. That's when the mind replays what you can't fix. I'd lie awake, staring at the ceiling of my rehab room, hearing the sound of her laugh echo inside my skull. My brain kept retrieving her from memories I didn't authorize, her brushing hair out of her eyes during auditions, her running lines at midnight because the rhythm's off, her holding my hand in that dim corner of the set and whispering, "We're gonna make something unforgettable." We did. But not the way she meant. The deeper I got into rewriting Our Lie in Summer, the more I realized how much of her I had injected into the original script. Every line of dialogue was tailored to her cadence, every camera angle framed for her face. Even the lighting cues were shaped around the way she moved through scenes. Erasing her wasn't creative, it was surgical. I had to remove her without damaging the heart of the film. Melissa helped with that. Not directly, she never told me how to write or what to cut, but she kept showing up with the kind of presence that doesn't demand attention, just fills space. One night, while going over scene transitions, I looked up from my laptop and said, "How did you know she wasn't coming back?" Melissa didn't look up from her notepad. She didn't leave anything behind. That answer haunted me. Because she was right. Anna left no trace of grief, no letter, no voice note, not even an email. She walked away like closing a book. And the more I sat with that, the more I realized Anna had always been rehearsing the exit long before I fell. The coma just gave her the cue. There was a point where I questioned everything, not just Anna, but myself. Had I been blind? Had I mistaken ambition for loyalty, performance for love? Everyone thought I had it all figured out, the calm director, the calculated writer. But what they didn't see was the man curled in bed at night, playing messages Anna had left months ago just to remember what her voice used to sound like when it wasn't giving interviews. One morning I found a voicemail from her buried under dozens of spam calls. She'd sent it 3 days after my accident. "Robert, it's me. I hope you're okay. I'm sorry. I had to go. I couldn't stay. I felt like I couldn't breathe there. No, I love you. No, I'm waiting." Just that, I couldn't breathe there. I remember why. Sparing to no one, neither could I. The more Anna disappeared, the more Melissa seemed to root herself quietly in my life. Not romantically, not yet. It was more subtle than that. Melissa brought order to the chaos Anna left behind. When I panicked about production gaps, she filled the spreadsheets. When I snapped over a misread line, she calmly reset the tone. She reminded me to eat. She reminded me I wasn't dead. But even that brought its own kind of guilt. Was I leaning too hard on her? Was I transferring my broken trust into someone who didn't ask to carry it? I started catching myself watching her, how she smiled when no one noticed, how she handled problems Anna would have dramatized. She was never loud, never flashy, but always effective, and it scared me. Because deep down, I'd started writing her into the next story. The day Anna returned to town was the day my chest started tightening again. I didn't even see her first, I read it in a blog post. Anna Delgado returns to LA, I's new project. I stared at the screen too long. Melissa came in with lunch and paused. "You saw?" I nodded. "She's fishing. She's testing." Daniel was less subtle. "Don't fall for the PR, she's gonna twist this." And I knew he was right. But knowing doesn't kill curiosity. There's something about betrayal that lingers like a bruise under the ribs. You can press on it and act unaffected, but it still hurts when no one's looking. I spent 2 hours that night reading articles about her European project, the one she left me for. Turns out, the director abandoned it midway. The budget collapsed, the film had been quietly shelved. Anna had gambled everything and ended up with nothing. I should have felt triumphant. Instead, I felt cold. 2 nights later, she showed up. Melissa had tried to intercept her, but Anna was always skilled at finding cracks in walls. She walked onto the lot like she still belonged, heels sharp, eyes sharper. "You rewrote everything," she said before I even spoke. I had to. Lilith's good, she admitted, but the bitterness leaked through. "But she's not me." "No," I said. "She's consistent." Anna stared at me. "I never meant to hurt you. You just didn't care if you did." That broke something in her posture. Her shoulders dropped, her mouth parted, but I didn't give her time to script the next line. "I mourned you, Anna," I said quietly. "While you were collecting awards, I was learning how to walk again, and the whole time, I kept wondering what I'd done to make you leave like that." Tears gathered, but I stayed still. "I waited for you," she whispered. I tilted my head. "You left before I even woke up." After she left the studio, Melissa found me sitting alone in the dark. "She came in again," she said. "I know. You okay?" I didn't answer right away. "She says she regrets it." Melissa didn't roll her eyes or scoff, she just sat across from me and asked gently, "Do you believe her?" "I don't know." I exhaled slowly. I loved her, Melissa, not because she was perfect, but because I thought she believed in us. I thought we were telling the same story. Melissa nodded. "Sometimes people change the plot without telling you." "And what if part of me still wants to forgive her?" She looked at me evenly. "Then make sure you're not doing it just because you missed the ending you imagined." I stared at the edit screen of our final film cut. Lilith on the beach. Wind in her hair. Tears in her eyes. Delivering the monologue Anna once practiced in our living room. And I realized something chilling. Anna would have played it better technically, but Lilith meant every word. Intent mattered more than perfection, just like in life. 2 weeks before the official festival screening, I received a call from Daniel at 6:14 a.m. He didn't bother with pleasantries. "She filed an injunction." I sat up in bed. "Who?" "Anna. Her lawyers are claiming she holds creative rights to Our Lie in Summer." I blinked. She abandoned the project. "She's arguing that the original script was based on her persona, crafted around her expressions, movements, even emotional tempo. She's claiming it's derivative of her personal image." I was silent for 5 full seconds. That's insane. She's trying to block the screening. For the first time in months, I felt my throat tighten, not with grief, but pure disbelief. "Has the board been notified?" I asked. "They have. Melissa's already on the phone legally." Of course she was. By 9 a.m. we were in the conference room, Melissa pacing the window line, Daniel seated with his tablet, and me, numb in the center chair with a contract printout in hand. "She's claiming emotional authorship?" I asked slowly. "Yes," Melissa said. "She submitted early drafts of the character breakdown, emails between you two from 2 years ago. She's presenting it as evidence that she co-developed the role. She ghosted the entire production." "She's not disputing that," Daniel added. "She's saying the character still belongs to her emotionally, that you built her with Anna in mind." I stared at the ceiling. He wasn't wrong. I had written the original version with Anna's voice echoing through every line. I'd scripted for her gaze, her tone, the way she delivered longing like it was casual. But she left. She chose a European art film and vanished into foreign press circuits while I lay immobile in the ICU. That should have nullified everything. And yet, here we were, watching her try to legally claw her way back into relevance. Melissa slammed her notepad shut. "This isn't about the film, it's about control." "She can't win this, right?" Daniel asked. Melissa glanced at me. "It depends. If she can convince a judge that her personal brand is integral to the lead character's identity, it becomes a gray area." "And the hearing?" I asked. "Set for Monday. 4 days before the premiere." She timed it on purpose. That night, I sat alone in the editing room. I replayed the same scene, Lilith walking along the cliff's edge, delivering the monologue Anna once claimed as her own. It didn't feel like Anna's scene anymore, it hadn't for months. But the bones, they were there. And maybe Anna knew that. She hadn't come to reclaim love. She came to reclaim authorship. The next day, Anna called. I didn't answer. She called again, then she showed up at the studio, this time, with a bouquet in hand and a carefully curated sadness in her expression. Melissa intercepted her at the front desk. You can't go in. I just want to talk to Robert. You sent him a lawsuit. I didn't want to, my team advised it. Melissa didn't blink. No, you wanted to, you just thought it would make him call you back. I want to settle, Anna said quickly, privately. Melissa tilted her head. Now that the press is circling? I don't want this to get ugly. Melissa paused. It's already ugly. I stepped out before it escalated. Anna's eyes widened when she saw me. You look thinner, she said. You look desperate. She flinched. I didn't care. You tried to erase me, she said quietly. You erased yourself. Her voice cracked. We built that character together. No, I said. I built it. You posed in front of it. She stepped closer. Let me make this right. You can't. I'll drop the injunction. I blinked. Why? Her voice was small now. Because I thought if I pushed you into a corner, you'd see me again. I stared at her. Anna, I saw you. Every version, the starlet, the liar, the girl who ran. I don't need to see you anymore. She looked like she might cry. Go home, Anna. She didn't argue. She left. Melissa and I sat across from each other in silence after that. I broke it first. You think she meant it? I think she misses being the center of a story. Maybe she was, for a while. You still care? I paused. I care that she's capable of this. I care that someone I trusted used the law to hurt what we rebuilt. Melissa watched me carefully. You don't owe her compassion, Robert. You already gave her enough of your life. I exhaled slowly. She nearly took everything. But she didn't, Melissa said gently. You got it back. By Monday, the injunction was formally withdrawn. No settlement, no compensation, just a one-line retraction filed through her lawyer. Melissa raised an eyebrow when she saw the document. She's never going to stop rewriting the narrative, is she? She doesn't need to, I said. I already published the real one. Daniel looked up. So, what now? We prepare for premiere night. He grinned. With or without a red dress showing up? Let her wear white this time, I muttered. Might fool one or two critics. The twist wasn't that Anna sued us. It was that for a moment, I almost understood her. That brief, sick beat where I heard her voice saying, we built it together. It wasn't entirely false. She did inspire something, once. And maybe part of her really did believe she was fighting for something that was hers. But the truth? Inspiration isn't ownership, love isn't collateral, and showing up late doesn't earn you the first line in the credits. The deeper twist was internal. I had finally, truly let go. Not in pieces, not gradually, but in one breath. In one moment of clarity, I realized that the story was mine, the pain was mine, the recovery, the film, the success, the scars, all of it. And she wasn't the lead anymore. She was just a scene that ended a long time ago. Premiere night arrived like a storm you could see coming days in advance but couldn't avoid. The theater glowed with silver light and hushed tension. Studio executives hovered in tailored suits, journalists clutched press kits. Daniel paced near the bar, texting someone about distribution deals. Melissa stood at my side, grounded and calm in a satin black dress, her hair twisted into something soft and practical. Our lie in summer was about to be unspooled publicly for the first time, and Anna had RSVP'd. I hadn't spoken to her since the lawsuit withdrawal, no calls, no messages. She didn't owe me any more words, nor did I owe her. But I knew she wouldn't skip the event. She'd need to see it, to measure what she lost and what replaced her. When she walked in, the room shifted. She wore navy instead of red this time, her hair was slicked back, her heels were modest, it was the most restrained I'd ever seen her. She scanned the room slowly before locking eyes with me. Melissa's hand tensed slightly around her clutch. Anna walked over without hesitation. Congratulations, she said. Her voice was even, like someone announcing weather. Thank you, I replied. She looked at Melissa next. You look beautiful. Melissa didn't smile. I'm not here to impress you. Anna gave a soft, rehearsed chuckle. That's fair. She turned back to me. I just wanted to say, this was never supposed to be a war. No, I said. Wars require both sides to fight. Her lips twitched. I meant everything I said back then, she added. Even if it was selfish. Selfishness is forgivable, I said. Calculated isn't. Anna's posture didn't shift, but something in her eyes dimmed. You think I used you? No, I said honestly. I think you loved the version of me who gave you roles and spotlight. When I couldn't do that anymore, you left. She looked at Melissa again. And she filled in? No, I said. She stayed. The silence that followed felt like something collapsing, quietly, internally, with no rubble left behind. The film rolled. Lilith appeared on screen like a flame in the cold. Her performance didn't mimic Anna's, it erased her entirely. Every line delivered with honesty, every pause aching with subtext. The theater didn't move, no coughs, no rustling, just immersion. Halfway through, I glanced at Anna. She was crying, quietly, perfectly. A single tear resting on her cheek like it had been placed there by a stylist. I didn't feel triumphant, I didn't feel bitter, I felt done. She knew it too. After the screening, the standing ovation lasted almost 2 full minutes. When the lights came up, I walked to the front with Lilith, Melissa, and Daniel. We answered questions, took photos, and gave thanks. Anna didn't approach me again. But when I finally stepped outside, into the wind and quiet of the after-party terrace, she was waiting. Her hands were bare, no phone, no ring. You really did it, she said. I nodded. I didn't think you'd finish it without me. That's the thing about healing, I said. You don't realize it's happening until you don't need the person who broke you. Her breath caught. I never meant to break you. But you did. She nodded, swallowing hard. You know, she said, there was a moment in Paris, the day I got the call that you woke up. I was doing a night shoot, standing in the middle of a fake street, holding a cigarette I didn't know how to smoke. I remember staring into the light and thinking, what if he doesn't want me when I come back? And you still didn't come back, I said. I didn't know how. You just had to walk in. I thought you'd hate me. I did, I admitted, for a while. And now? Now I don't feel anything when I look at you. That landed like a slap she didn't expect. Is that worse? She whispered. No, it's freedom. She sat on the stone ledge of the terrace, wrapping her arms around herself. I don't know how to fix what I did, she said. You can't. But I lost everything, Robert. No, I said. You gave it away. Tears gathered again. You think I'm the villain. I think you're the main character in your own story, but this one wasn't yours. She nodded slowly. Melissa loves you, you know. I know. She's never going to break you. I looked out over the skyline. No, she's too busy building me. Anna stood. Goodbye, Robert. I turned to face her fully. Goodbye, Anna. She didn't linger. She didn't look back. This time, she really did leave. Inside, Melissa found me alone. You okay? She asked. Yeah, I said. It's strange, it didn't end like I thought it would. It rarely does. But it ended. She touched my hand lightly. She won't come back again. I know. Melissa paused. And if she did? She wouldn't recognize me now. Melissa looked at me with something between relief and understanding. I'm proud of you, she said. I nodded. I'm proud of us. She leaned against my shoulder. Do you ever miss who you used to be? Every now and then, but that guy built a lot of things on shaky ground. And this version? He builds things that last. Later that night, when most of the guests had left and the stars blinked over the rooftop, I sat with Melissa, quietly sharing a glass of wine. No cameras, no dialogue, just 2 people who survived something. She turned to me. If you had to title this moment right now, what would you call it? I thought for a second. The scene after the climax, the one where the lead realizes he wasn't the victim, he was the writer all along. She smiled. I like that. 3 weeks after the premiere, we signed the biggest distribution deal of my career. Our Lie in Summer was picked up by 3 international platforms, a limited theatrical release, and 2 major award nominations. The festival circuit buzzed with praise for the writing, the direction, and above all, Lilith Reyes's performance. But quietly, behind every article and headline, there was one consistent undertone. Robert Langford returned, and he didn't bring Ana Delgado with him. Revenge wasn't about crushing someone publicly, it wasn't about slandering them or humiliating them on record. Real revenge was success with silence. Real revenge was not mentioning the one who wanted to be remembered most. Ana's name didn't appear in any of our press kits. Her presence was erased from all production materials. She existed in the footnotes, an abandoned draft, a name crossed out in early call sheets. If anyone asked, we simply said, creative differences. The role evolved. And it had, so had I. Melissa now had her own office across the hall from mine. Daniel started joking that she ran the studio better than either of us. She handled scheduling, pre-production, even a few early investor calls for our next project, but more than that, she handled the spaces in between. The gaps Ana used to fill with drama, Melissa filled with stability. She never demanded anything from me, never claimed space, she simply existed in a way that made me want to build around her. That was how I knew it was real. One afternoon, I found her in the screening room, re-watching the beach monologue. "You've seen this scene 8 times, I said. "Still gives me chills," she replied. "What would you say if I asked you to co-write the next script?" She looked at me like I'd handed her the world. "I'd say yes," she said softly. "But only if I get to name the female lead." "Deal," I smiled. "Just don't name her Ana." Melissa smirked. "I was thinking about Evelyn, someone who doesn't run." 2 days later, I received a couriered envelope from a small independent publisher. Inside was a printed manuscript titled, Red Curtain, a memoir of betrayal and brilliance by Ana Delgado. Melissa read it before I did. "It's exactly what you think," she told me. Chapter 5 is titled The Man Who Used Me to Rewrite Himself. I skimmed the pages. She framed herself as the tragic heroine, said the industry betrayed her, said I manipulated her exit to elevate a no-name actress. That our Lie in Summer was, in her words, a stolen performance. "She's betting on public sympathy," Daniel said. "She's lost everything else." "What do we do?" Melissa asked. I set the manuscript down calmly. "We don't respond." Daniel blinked. "Nothing? Not even a statement?" "She wants a reaction," I said. "Let her echo into silence." Melissa nodded. "Let the work speak louder." But I had something else planned. Ned, not loud, just precise. The final act wasn't a press war, it wasn't a lawsuit, it wasn't even a scandal, it was a film. Our next project, written entirely in secret, was greenlit within 6 weeks. The script was sharp, intimate, and deeply personal. It followed a rising starlet who built her career by stepping over the people who helped her rise, until the very people she discarded created something she could never replicate. We called it Inheritance. Melissa co-wrote it with me, Daniel produced, Lilith starred. Every moment in that film was built from truth, not exposure, not petty vengeance, just raw, polished narrative. Ana was never named, but every industry insider knew exactly who inspired the lead. It premiered 9 months later. The standing ovation lasted longer than the one for our Lie in Summer. Ana watched from a seat in the 3rd row. She wasn't invited, but she got in anyway. After the lights came up, she didn't approach me, she approached Melissa. "You win," Ana said. Melissa didn't smile. This wasn't a contest. I was the original muse. "No," Melissa said quietly. "You were the lesson, and he learned." Ana stood there for a long moment before turning to leave. She didn't cry, she didn't speak again, and this time, she didn't come back. 2 weeks later, Inheritance became the most streamed film in its category. It earned 4 international awards, 2 screenwriting nominations, and Melissa was invited to speak at 3 global panels on narrative development. I watched her take the stage each time with grace and clarity. No theatrics, no tears, just someone who had written her way into the future. Daniel once asked me, half joking, "You ever think about what would have happened if Ana stayed?" I answered without hesitation. She would have ruined everything. Now, when people speak of my work, they speak of a partnership. Not with Anna, with Melissa. The quiet builder, the one who stayed, the one who knew how to shape chaos into clarity, the one who didn't need to perform to be powerful. We built something better. And Anna? She became a cautionary tale. Not because she failed, but because she tried to steal something that wasn't hers, something that only thrives when it's earned. One night, I found Melissa in the office going over the early drafts for our third screenplay. She looked up. "You've been quiet today." "Just thinking," I said. "About Anna?" "No," I replied. "About how far we've come." She stood, crossed the room, and took my hand. "No more looking back," she said. And I didn't. Not after that. Ending line. She left me in a coma for her dream role, so I gave the role to someone better, built an empire without her, and made sure the credits never mentioned her name again.